Welcome to ASR's IS Institute. Let's take a look at current affairs for today, going to October. On Sunday, for 2nd October, there is only news uploaded. There are no editorials in the newspaper. The news for today, the important news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are: Pakistan still in anesthesia after surgery, says Parrikar. China thwarts Indian bid to name Masood Azhar as terrorist. Rupees 65,250 crores mobbed up via new black money window. Raise illegal religious structures built after September 2009, says Bombay High Court. IISc's catalyst renders drinking water E. coli free. Indian researchers' solution to marine oil spills. Scientists design a universal flu vaccine. Update on mosquito spit. China blocks tributary to Brahmaputra to build a dam. No takers for 700 megahertz. Auction bids top rupees 53,000 crores. Centre rethinks plan to widen EPF coverage. And finally, new species of pica discovered. We will discuss each of these articles one by one in detail. The first article, you know about the surgical strikes which India did. Right now Pakistan is still in denial. It says no such attack took place. It was just cross-border firing along the LOC and nothing more. So the Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar presently said that Pakistan is like a patient who has been given anesthesia and doesn't know that the surgery has already been done on him. So that was the statement made. The next item, China thwarts Indian bid to name Masood Azhar as a terrorist. Now this JEM chief, Masood Azhar, is the founder of JEM, Jaish-e-Mohammed, the organization founded in 2000 by him. He is a resident of Pakistan and he is involved in various terrorist attacks in India. In 2000, he had committed strikes on the army camps in Jammu and Kashmir. Then in 2001, he struck on the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly. Then a strike took place on Indian Parliament in 2001. That was also involving JEM and Masood Azhar. Then even as recent as Pathankot Airways attack in Jan 2016, the present Uri attacks which took place on 18 September, all have the involvement of Jaish-e-Mohammed. We have clear evidence. The National Investigation Agency, which is investigating these cases, has also given evidence of Masood Azhar being involved in these attacks. Now, we want UN to designate him as a terrorist. That will be done by a special committee of the United Nations Security Council, which is known as the Sanctions Committee of the Council. This Sanctions Committee will also have the same 15 members, which are the members of UNSC, Security Council members, of which 5 are the permanent members, you should know. The P5 are USA, UK, France, Russia and China. These 5 members have veto powers, means if any one of them says no, that decision cannot be taken. The remaining 10 members in the 15-member UN Security Council are non-permanent members. They are elected for 2-year terms and they represent all various continents of the world. So the 14 members in UN Security Council have agreed to this Indian proposal of designating Masood Azhar as a terrorist. Only one member, a veto power member who refuses to grant his approval is China. So it has put a technical hold. The term uses technical hold on this request and based on this, the decision cannot be taken. So a 3-month stay, maximum going up to 6 months take place. On March 31, 2016, China used its veto power. So now after 6 months, that veto has elapsed. So automatically it would have become effective if China would not have extended this technical hold. But now presently the news which comes is China has again extended this technical hold. Of course it is clear China supports Pakistan and it does not want to pass any such proposal at UN which would upset Pakistan. So this is also clear evidence of international politics. The next news item is about the voluntary disclosure income tax disclosure scheme which was launched in 2016, a few months back. It provided for a 4-month window to voluntarily disclose your income. It started in June and now 30th September 2016, this income tax disclosure scheme has been wrapped up. It is similar to the voluntary disclosure scheme which was launched in 1997. But Finance Minister Jaitley says that it is not to be compared because the previous scheme of 1997 did not have any penalties. Rather, this income disclosure scheme of 2016 has a penalty rate of 45%, means you have to pay the tax as well as the penalty at this rate. The previous scheme was taking income declarations at the rate of 1987. So of course there's a huge difference. The benefits which you will get if you declare your income under this were that your wealth tax assets would be exempted. There will be no scrutiny under the Income Tax Act. You will be immune from prosecution under the Income Tax Act and the Wealth Tax Act. You will be immune from prosecution even under the Benami Transactions Act. What is provided is that you submit your income tax returns, correct income tax returns, plus you also pay the penalty. The only problem which income tax payers faced was that they were not able to pay this amount upfront. So they demanded that the Central Board of Direct Taxes should accept these payments in installments. And the government agreed to this. So it will be paid in installments going up to 1 year in 3 installments going up to September 2017. So this is the initiative taken. Of course, one more thing under it is that the identity of these income tax payers will be kept confidential. That is also an assurance given by the government. Other measures which Arun Jaitley spoke of, which have been taken presently, are that even the other cases, like International Consortium of Investigative Journalists brought out cases of black money and money laundering in India related to Indians having bank accounts abroad too. All such cases have been looked into. Investigations have been started in this. The Panama cases, the Panama leaks which came up, all those cases and the people indicted in them, they have also been prosecuted and investigations have started. So these are the steps taken. Even the Supreme Court has asked for investigation in all black money and money laundering cases, and a special investigation team has been set up by the judiciary. So even actions taken under it are progressive. The next news item is raise illegal religious structures built after 29 September 2009. This date is important because this is the date on which the Supreme Court passed a resolution based on suo motu cognizance. Suo motu cognizance means the court takes up a case suo motu on its own, not based on some litigation. The Supreme Court said that all illegal religious structures beyond this cutoff date should be abolished. So Bombay High Court is now asking the state government to take action based on this Supreme Court directive. The Maharashtra government passed a resolution, Government Resolution GR, on November 18, 2015, in which it said that within 9 months, all illegal religious structures coming up beyond this date, means after 29 September 2009, will be abolished, and in 2 years, all those which had been there before 2009 will be abolished. The Bombay High Court presently said that this 9 months time frame has now elapsed, and with the end of September 2016. So in these 9 months, not even 1/3 of the illegal religious structures coming up after 2009 also have been abolished. So they have not done their work. This is based on the report given by the Maharashtra government itself. So when the government itself admits that action is not been taking place, so Bombay High Court is furious now. It asked the Maharashtra government to give monthly reports on the actions taken by the government based on this GR. It also said that it's justified, this action is justified by the judiciary, saying that no religion says prayers should be offered in an illegally constructed place. So this is violating Article 21, right to life, right to people to have footpaths and safety on the roads. So it is violating Article 21, and there is no protection under right to religion, that is Article 25, for such illegal shrines. The next news item is on Indian Institute of Science. Scientists have developed a catalyst which makes drinking water E. coli free. So E. coli is a bacteria which is generally present in water too. The catalyst which they have prepared is zinc oxide photocatalyst. Now the benefit of this is that it absorbs not just UV light, which is the conventional method for killing this bacteria, but this catalyst also absorbs normal light. And normal light, visible light, is 40% of the electromagnetic spectrum, while UV light is just 4%. So it uses both visible light and UV light to kill the bacteria. So that is the advantage of this catalyst, which will be much more cheaper and much more faster. So this news becomes important because UPSC wants you to know about contribution of Indian scientists, and this news generally come up every Sunday in the Hindu newspaper. So this is first amongst these. The next which we'll look at is another news about Indian researchers developing a solution for marine oil spills. The marine oil spills which we saw in 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which took place due to a British petroleum oil rig in Gulf of Mexico. The oil spill was vast and resulted in a huge amount of oil spill. So this takes place. This is not just one huge disaster, but oil spills do take place by ships and by oil rigs. So there is a need for an effective solution for oil spills. The Indian scientists have now synthesized metal organic framework, MOF membrane, which is having exceptionally hydrophobic and exceptionally high oil loving, that is oleophilic properties. Hydrophobic means afraid of, means it will not take. Hydrophobic means not liking water. So water will not be absorbed, and oil loving, oleophilic means oil loving, means oil will be absorbed. So this membrane will absorb and pick up all the oil, and water will be filtered out. So this is like a filter. So this is a extremely beneficial filter which will help in tackling oil spills. So this is an initiative, a research by Indian scientists. So it is having distinctly high oleophilic properties. So that is the benefit. So such researches do take place, and they are filed in international science journals too. So they become prominent. The next news item, this is about international scientists. These were international scientists involved. They have developed a universal flu vaccine. Now flu or influenza as we know it results in many deaths, and there are various influenza are of various forms. So there are various vaccines required. Now what these scientists have done is they have developed a universal flu vaccine. So that will help in tackling all flus. So that is what is the research here done. The next news item which we look at is on mosquito spit. Mosquitoes generally responsible for various diseases like malaria, dengue, chikungunya, which are very prominent these days too. This mosquito spit, actually the mosquito saliva, it is believed helps in transmission of viruses. So the virus is transmitted through spit, but now the researchers have found that the saliva also contains a particular protein which has a completely opposite effect. A D7 protein which has been found, it results in inhibiting the virus being transmitted, and the body of the human being, a human being's immune system will actually attack this protein. So there is a need for research to ensure that this protein, which is actually beneficial, should not be attacked by the immune system. So they are doing research on this. And as you know, it's a very significant aspect because Aedes aegypti mosquito, which we know resulting in transmission of dengue, Zika virus and chikungunya, are very prominent these days. The next news item is about India-China relations. China presently has blocked a tributary of Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra in its upper reaches in China is known as Yalung Zangpo, and this tributary has been blocked for its major hydroelectric project called Lalho project, which it is constructing in Tibet region. So now what is happening is Indian government says that maybe this is a response to what we were discussing about Indus Water Treaty, but China says no such action will be taken. It will be made sure that the flow to India does not get affected. It says it is run of the river project, means it will not block the flow of the river. And India-China have an agreement since 2013. China passes on or shares all the technical information about flow of the river Brahmaputra and its tributaries with India frequently on a regular basis. So that is already in place, and China says we are not going to violate and go against anything. The lower riparian states for Brahmaputra, both India and Bangladesh, will not be affected. So that is the assurance given by China. The next news item, the telecom spectrum auction has been started. And on the first day, it was seen that there were no takers for the 700 megahertz telecom band, which will help in having high broadband services. Reliance Jio, all prominent telecom companies are in the bid, but no takers for this. So we'll see on the second day, maybe there'll be more takers. You can also read all these news items on the website. The link for the web page is provided